Pineapple apple pen.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing 5 things that you can do to increase your accuracy with Widow and increase your winnings with her. So I have 5 tips today for you guys, and we are going to go through them. I'm going to show you different footages of the different tips and show you some gameplay scenarios so that you will be able to increase your accuracy and how many kills you get within the game. Although these tips will not make you the best Widow out there, nor a pro, these are just tips that I use when I first began to want to play Widow that helped me increase my gameplay, and it made me not only want to beat her more, but it also made me, do better and not die as much as before when I did not use these tips. So today I'm going to provide to you 5 things to help you become a better Widowmaker player. Tip number 1. Notice how within this gameplay footage, I did not jump onto the ledge. I unlatched myself and I landed within the point. The reason I did this is because most teams would look up at the ledge assuming there is a Widow, or they would just look up there to check to see if any other heroes went up there. Doing this, I would have put myself at a risk to get shot by enemy Widows or enemy McCrees or Zenyatta's, or possibly even a Tracer zooming up to the top to come take me out. Most heroes will look up at the ledge to see if you're even up there when the match begins. However, I stayed on the ground with my team and went to the point. Not only did I do that, but I also snagged 2 headshots and got rid of 2 vital heroes on the enemy team. So to continue, we all need game sense to be the best Widow we can be. We always need to question ourselves where we are, why we are there, and how we're going to get out the situation if it ever gets hot. So to begin, we always need to know where we are and who can see us. As you see in the gameplay footage, I put myself in a spot to where I can see where the enemy push is going to come from. Also, I'm rapidly checking behind me to make sure that no enemy heroes is going to run up behind me and take me out easily. The reason I position myself up here is because within this map, this is one of the best areas to be for a Widow, and it allows the Widow to see coverage over almost the entire map. Also, as you guys are going to see here in a minute, there was a Widow trap placed right in front of my legs. However, I did not see it whenever I was in the game, but I ran, tried to position myself differently just in case the Widow had an easy sight of me so I didn't die by her. I ran into the room to take cover, then I saw where she was at and I persecuted her. Tip number 2, sensitivity comfortability. So with this, there is a bunch of controversy that has went around debating on whether or not there's a set sensitivity that you should use to help you increase your skills as Widow. And there's a simple answer to that. There is no set sensitivity to help you with your gameplay on your Widow whenever you're playing her. So these are my sensitivity settings that I gave you today to see maybe if you would like to start around these settings. But this is just one of those things that you just have to switch around, tweak until you feel most comfortable with the settings that you think have optimized your gameplay to the fullest. Tip number 3, reticle choice. Again, these are one of those things that there is no set answer to, nor is there a definitive thing that will help you increase your accuracy. These are one of those things that you will have to come back to, change, and often tweak just to get your optimized gameplay. Now, as many users would say, it's best if you choose a smaller crosshair, regardless whether it's a cross, a dot, or anything else of that sort, because the bigger your crosshair is, the harder it is for you to aim towards the head, because your crosshair will take away your ability to see their head and only their head, because it will cover almost their whole entire body with just the middle of your crosshair. Therefore, like I said before, these are one of those things that you will have to tweak on your own. Tip number 4, flicking, tracing, and standing. These are the 3 different types of ways to aim at an enemy. Now, within the footage right now that you see, I am currently flicking, but I slowed it down so you can see. Now, flicking is an action that you do subconsciously. This is not one of those things that you will have to train to do, but as you play Widow more and you start to do this, your mind will automatically do it for you. So I added some pros and cons and who it counters. So when you're actually in the game, you often wonder whether you should flick, trace, or just stand. And the question is, why choose? Why don't you just use all 3? Now, of course, you cannot do them all simultaneously. However, what you can do is use them all in different situations whenever you're provided within the game with different heroes. So, for example, whenever you have a tracer in front of you, or perhaps maybe a Lucio, or even a baby diva from a far distance, tracing is going to be pretty difficult. So is standing due to them moving so rapidly. So, your best resort would be to start trying to flick them. Now, while often you may be distracted by enemy players, such as like a Roadhog or a Reinhardt trying to kill you, that's when tip number 1 comes into play, and you use your game sense to jump into a ledge or a higher distance where those have a disadvantage to killing you, and you're able to reach over there to the Tracer or possibly the Zenyatta or the Baby Diva, and flick them until you eventually get them. Although if you're not really used to flicking, this might take you a while. So this right here is tracing. I of course listed the pros and cons and the counters that it best suits against. So within tracing, this is one of those things that you want to be careful with, because you don't want to use this in all case scenarios. Because as I said before, if you're given a tracer and you're trying to trace where she's actually going, that might not work out for you, and she may be able to kill you in the time lapse that you guys are battling out. She may be able to kill you, especially considering if the distance is too close. Therefore, you might want to flick her instead of trying to trace at her. But don't always rely on one. Always use them all to optimize your gameplay to the fullest. You might want to trace the McCree or the Roadhog to get a couple headshots in there before you resort to trying to flick them. Now, the last type of aim that we have here is standing, which is what I call it, because I didn't know if it already had a name. And this is when you allow the enemies to directly walk into your crosshair and you just aim and shoot whenever they cross it. Now, this might sound kind of silly at first, because you may think that they're not going to walk into it. However, if you just put it in their general direction, they're going to walk back and forth, and eventually they're going to walk right into your crosshair, and you just aim and fire. Tip number 5, just switch. Now, as a beginning Widow, I was very staggering to switch into another hero if the play called for it. But I was no fool. If I can't hit any hero on their team due to there being many shields in the way, or due to there being sneaky flanking heroes that flank me constantly, I know that I'm unable to play Widow, and I just switch to another hero to be. Now, it might be kind of hard to switch due to you want to get as much practice as possible, but this is when you just go into a regular game that you create, and you put a whole bunch of AI in there that can't shoot you, and you just practice your aim with them. But when you're in a regular game and you want to practice, try to make sure that the team composition that you're going against best suits for a Widow, and that you'll be able to get picks or do damage to any type of heroes, because if you can't, you just need to switch. And that's a wrap, guys. So I just gave you top 5 tips that helped me become the better Widow I am today. When I first began, I knew that I wasn't going to be carefree or anybody like that by using the tips that I found online. However, I did begin to integrate them into my gameplay slowly the more games that I played, and eventually it allowed me to become a mediocre Widow. But in conclusion, I think that you guys should utilize these tips to your best ability while also using other tips that you guys have researched and slowly integrate them into your gameplay, and eventually you will soon see results as you're becoming one of the best widows out there. See you guys in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe.